We have a gorgeous too, honey.
Thank you so much. Hello, hello, hello. Manima here with Empower You Coaching and Podcast today. And my special guest is my dear friend, Cherone Smalls. And she's going to share with you guys some of the things that you don't hear on a regular basis. She was sharing some things with me last year, and she said, "This is what's going to happen when you do your taxes because of this." And, everybody's sitting around like, well, what happened? He's like, well, I told you last year what was going to happen.
Mhm.
So I thought it was really important to bring this information to my audience because that is the entire point of New Connections and Empower You is to empower you with information that's going to help you live your best life. So, hey, lady Cherone, how you doing, darling?
I'm doing fine, Minnie. How are you?
I'm great. They don't. You can't call me Minnie on the podcast, crazy lady. My name is
Mhm.
Manima. Everybody in the world can't call me Minnie, so you can't do that. I
Mhm.
be having
I
people call me Minnie.
apologize. Hello, Manima. How are you? I am fine, thank you.
Good stuff, ladies. We were talking the other day, and you were just sharing some things, and I really would like for you to share some of that here and now. And if anybody out there hears something that's like, oh wow, you'd like to have some more information, get a consultation. Um, or you haven't done your taxes this year yet, or you still haven't filed last year or the year before, this is my girl. She got you. So, Sharon, please share with the people what you were telling me.
Okay, well, I think the main question that a lot of people have is about their stimulus when they're filing their taxes. What happens is with the first stimulus, first of all, there's a recovery rebate form that is part of when you're filing your taxes. And what it's going to ask you is if you received the first stimulus. Let's say you owe child support or you've been garnished for whatever reason. Regardless if you've been garnished or not, it counts it as you received the first $1,200. So if you owe child support, you still have to put that you received it, even though it didn't go in your pocket. That's for stimulus number one. For stimulus number two, according to the CARES Act that was made, no one could be taxed for that. So if you owe child support, your check was getting garnished for whatever, they could not take stimulus number two away from you. The only exception is that some people never received it. So then you can include and say, I never received stimulus number two. But stimulus number one is the one that's a lot of people are like, well, I never got it. It doesn't matter. If you had any offset, they call it offsets. You had any offsets, it doesn't matter. They count as you did. Now, what you will find happening is your refund, let's say it's 2,500. As soon as you put in that you received that first and second stimulus, your refund is going to shrink because basically what happened is the government or the IRS, the way it was written into Congress, is that you got an advance of whatever you were going to get for your tax refund. So a lot of people have sticker shock like, oh my God, why am I getting less money? Well, basically, the government gave you that money already. So they're doing that so you don't get it again. And that's why that form is included when you're doing your taxes. So, in essence, you think, oh, yeah, I got this stimulus, I'm doing good or whatever. But what you got was a tax advance on your refund. So keep that in mind that if the 1,400 passes, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to happen when you file 2020. Now, one good thing that they're stating is that now for 2020, up to the first $10,000 on your unemployment is non-taxable. So what does that mean? That's pretty much the government is giving you free money if you're on unemployment and you don't have to pay taxes on it, and you're not going to be taxed for it. So just as I always tell people, a golden rule is anytime you file for unemployment, it will affect your tax refund. So if you're looking for a big refund and you've been on unemployment, yes, the first $10,000 is not taxed, but you're not going to get a big refund because basically you didn't really work. So you have to remember that. Another thing that you have to remember is if you borrowed from your 401k, yes, you could borrow up to $100,000 from your 401k. So let's say you borrowed $3,000. On the tax form, it's going to ask you because you should have gotten that tax form from whatever. Let's say you had Lincoln Investment, First Fidelity. They have to send you a tax form. When you file your taxes, it's going to ask you, did you borrow from the 401k? If you state yes, you have up until 3 years to pay it back. So if you borrowed $3,000, what it will do, and you can say, okay, I want to take 3 years, it's going to tax you for $1,000 for each of those 3 years. So it's not like before, if you borrowed that, you automatically got a penalty for it. You didn't get a penalty for it this time because of the CARES Act, and it was meant some people had to take up to $100,000 out of their 401k just to survive. So if they did, they're going to divide it into 3 years, and it could be like $10,000 or so for the 3 years, and they just have to pay taxes on that. So I don't know if that, and hopefully you understand that, but these are just some of the things that were incorporated because of the CARES Act. And I'm trying to think what's another thing. Oh, also, if you have adult children living at home, this is another thing that I found out from a customer that I had. If you have adult children living at home and you provide 50 or more percentage for them, you got a stimulus for those adult children based on your last tax income, tax was it tax forms that you filled out. So if you put down your adult children and your minor children, you got a stimulus based on those children because you put them as dependents. Therefore, those adult children, let's say they get a job this year, and last year they got a job maybe, I don't know, in July or something, and they want to file taxes for the first time. If they can be claimed as a dependent on someone else's return, their parents, they are not going to get a big return, and they are not going to be eligible for that stipend that you got, that stimulus. They're not going to be eligible. So they basically, it'll wipe it out. So the refund might seem like it's big, but as soon as you put on there that they can be claimed by someone else, they will not get a big refund because it's going to knock it out. Unless, depending on how much money they make. If they made a lot of money, they might get something, but not really a lot. So those are important questions that I've been asked, and I just wanted to share that because there's a lot of different factors that can affect your refund. You can't itemize a lot of things, but you should keep receipts. You can add it, but if they're not big numbers, it's not going to really make a difference when you're itemizing. Those things are just done with. You know, it's basically the average refund they're saying is like maybe 2,500, and that's not right because people, if you got that stimulus, it's taken away from whatever you got. So if you were getting like $7,000, you're not going to get that if you got the stimulus. And let's say you had 3 kids, you're definitely not getting that because basically they gave you in advance to that $7,000.
Wow. 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 I wonder how many people really knew that.
Not a lot. I can tell you, not a
Yeah.
lot. When people are asking questions, and if you go online and you read, if you can go on irs.gov and there's a lot of information. You can go online and research it, but they're putting the information out there. But it's unfortunate it wasn't put out there before. So in
Yeah.
essence, the government was helping, but then in a way, some people that work, they're like, well, dang, I want my money, and I
Yeah. What am I
understand that.
supposed
But
to do now?
hey, you got an advancement. You
Yeah.
got an advancement on that money. So I would suggest if you know you're getting that 1,400, and let's say you got 2 or 3 kids, the rule is you're going to get 1,400 for yourself and 1,400 for each child. Does that mean going on a spending trip? The best thing I can tell you, especially if you're not working, pay your bills. You don't have to pay your student loan right now until the end of September. Pay your bills. If you got credit card bills, pay your bills. That's the smartest thing. Pay your bills. Some states have the eviction momentum. I'm in Virginia. They do not have it. Pay your bills. That's the
Wow.
best thing I can tell you to do. Pay your bills. If you got a car note, pay your bills. Because
Yeah.
some creditors, they're understanding, but a lot of them are not. They'll take you to court. They don't care. They just want their money because they're losing. But there are a lot of creditors, even from my own personal experience, that you can call, and they're understanding. They will work with you.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
another thing you need to know that might be important too, student loans. This is how that works. That only works if it is a federal funded student loan. If it is a private student loan, you still have to pay on that.
Oh
How do
wow.
I know that? Because I'm in that situation myself, and
Oh
that's how I
wow.
found out. I have a private loan. I
Oh
have to pay that every month, or else I will go into default. I also have federal student loans. Those I can put on hold right now. But the private one, I had to make payment arrangements so that I don't go into default again. So that's something that people need to remember. They're saying, oh, yeah, yeah, these loans, these loans, If it's private, you got to pay that loan.
Yeah.
So call your creditors or your debtors and make arrangements.
Yeah.
That will help you make arrangements. Don't just say, I don't have it, so I ain't going to do nothing.
Yeah.
I was always taught, even if you can afford $5, $10 a month, and a lot of creditors will knock it down to that. You do that because that will help your credit because it shows that you're at least attempting to pay.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they just give up. And I know right now, some of you are really like in a bind, but when you get that 1,400, use it like you see fit, but use it wisely. And for those of you that have been digging in your savings account, As long as you're paying your bills, that's really all that matters. But another thing I want to state is that the economy will get better and there are jobs available. Apply for one.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just sit home. Unemployment is great. Yeah, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, it affects your refund for the following year. So if you've
Wow.
been on it and you got a lot of money left in it, if you can keep up your skills, maybe change your career, do something that will benefit you. And of course, I always say work for yourself. I
Mm-hmm.
always promote that. Work for yourself
That's right.
because you're your best voice. So
That's
that's
right.
just a few tidbits I just wanted to share with people. If you need to get in contact with me, I have a business called Share Serve LLC, which many will post, Manima, excuse me, will post for you. And the email
Yes.
is the same as Gmail. So you can get in contact with me. And I am here. Tax season is on, so I'm here to help people. I don't rob people because I know sometimes, when you get that sticker shot, then you be like, dang, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
getting nothing.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. It's
understand.
rough. It's rough.
I'm in the
But
same boat.
well, Cherone, thank you so much. Do me a favor.
You're welcome.
Put your not your website, just your email address in the chat for me, and I'll make sure that goes with. I'm going to be posting this and letting everybody know if they have any questions that they should call you. You have an affordable consultation fee that you will discuss with them when they email. Leave their number, and then you'll call them back. Right?
Okay, will do.
Awesome sauce. Thank you, darling. Appreciate you. And
You're
thank
welcome.
you
I'm putting my
guys.
stuff in there.
Say it again.
I'm putting my stuff in the chat now.
Okay, good stuff. And thank you all for listening. Thank you for sharing this moment with Manima. Manima speaks to empower you, and I'll see you in the next video.